Good morning, tubers. I am putting in the third Dutch bucket system. I just kind of want to show you how it started. I've already given you a tutorial, I guess, on how to build the buckets, but I set up this bench with a couple pieces of plywood and I think 4 8-foot 2x4s. This is going to support what I believe is 15 buckets. And what I did is I used some cinder block to support it on these. I've used buckets on the other side. Those are starting to get brittle. I would not recommend that. I'm going to replace the ones down there with cinder block as a more permanent solution. You can see over there I've had to support it where the buckets have begun to fail. So use cinder block down here to support it. This side is higher than that side by about 1.5 inches, and it gradually drops. That way the return line will drain into the reservoir down here. You'll see the pump is, I get my pumps from a pet supply company. This is a return pump for ponds and goldfish or whatever you want to call it. I found them, they're only about 20 bucks at one of the local pet stores, so you can find these things pretty cheap, and they work just fine because that's what's been supporting my Dutch bucket systems here. Anyway, I've got a feeder line that comes up and I have it running along the board or the bench that the buckets are going to sit on, and my return line comes back and I have pre-drilled holes. Those are 1-inch holes. I used the same hole saw bit that I used to put in the drains into the buckets. But that's really all there is to it. I'll set her up and show you what I got. Okay, I got that feed line from one of the hardware stores, just irrigation feed line. These are pressure emitters, and they allow 1 gallon per hour. They keep you from running way too much in there for those to drain. So 1 gallon per hour. I'll put those into the feed line and attach the main feed line and attach the little feeder line to it and run that to the buckets. This is what I use to crimp the end of the main feeder hose over here, right there. I'll cut this main line off here and bend it and use this to keep it crimped, and that'll keep the fluid from coming out of the end, and so that the pressure will be distributed evenly across that main line. Alright, use this tool here to poke a hole down into the main feeder line. It's really easy, it's got a sharp point on it. Just pop it in. Take one of the emitters, push it into the hole, kind of twist it so it'll kind of fit more, snugly against the main feeder line, and then what we'll do is we'll run a hose from there into the bucket, a feeder line from the emitter to the bucket. I was contemplating using a T to split it, just use one emitter for 2 buckets, but it works so well the other way. I'm just gonna, if it ain't broke, you know, don't fix it. All right, now I'm taking this bag of perlite. I have 2 of them. There's another one down there, and I'm gonna begin to fill this with the perlite. And then I'll wet it down, let it drain, dump this, flush that tube out, and then I'll mix the chemical, put my feeder lines in, and we'll be planting a few tomatoes in there. I don't know if you can see that down there, but up at the top there's a hummingbird over there by the light on the wall, the far wall. There's a hummingbird up there. Hopefully it doesn't hurt itself in here, but it's sure welcome to be here. Alright, I've got them all filled to within about 1 inch of the top, and to do that for 15 of these 4-gallon kitty litter containers, that took approximately 6, maybe 6.5 cubic feet of perlite. These are 4 cubic foot bags, and it took a little better than 1.5 of them, so maybe 7 cubic feet. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'll show you what it looks like when I get the, see my little hummingbird friend coming at me? He's working in here. We welcome him. Show you what I've got when I put the feeder lines in, and then we'll wet it down, drain it, and then put some plants in there. One thing I wanted to tell you is when you're filling these up with the perlite, you may want to wear a mask, because the particulate that comes off of this, the dust that comes out of this bag, it'll choke you. So be careful with that. Okay, now you see I'm just cutting the feeder line, placing it on there, measuring it off longer than I need, and cutting it. And I'll repeat this another 13 times. Make sure you have it down on the emitter good, because when you come in and find that all your nutrient solution is on the floor because that popped off, it's never a good thing. use the natural curve of the feeder lines to get them into the bucket, and then I use the actual handle to secure it. Now repeat that all the way down. It's time to add the master blend fertilizer. I've already put it in this bucket. I'm going to blend it up with a drill and a paint blender. It has 12 grams per 5 gallons of master blend, 12 grams per 5 gallons of the calcium nitrate, and 6 grams per 5 gallons of the Epsom salt. There's approximately 25 gallons of nutrient solution in this system. That is accounting for what's going to stay in the bottom of each one of these as well. So I'm going to blend it up. I'm going to pour it into the reservoir here, and put some plants in here and kick it on. Bought this from the local hardware store. It's just a paint blender, and you see I got it dripping now. It's running. Now I'm going to plant some of the tomato plant. Alright, you see I just brought up some of the plants that I had in the window in the house. Rooting. These are cuttings. You see it's got a pretty decent root system already. Get rid of this guy here. And I'm just going to use the end of the hammer to make a hole. Put him down in it. Cover him up. That's all you got to do. Got her all finished. I got the first 3 over here are from this end, 3 Rutgers, then I have 3 Brandywine, then 3 BeefSteak, then 3 Big Beef, and topping it off with 3 AGRO paste tomatoes for a total of 15 plants. I'll keep you up to date on how it's going. God bless. Y'all go plant some dirt. We'll see you next time.